So if we go to the first album now, what was when did they say, okay, it's time to start working on the first album, because you're doing stuff, you gave stuff to Mary, you were doing ghostwriting. When is this like, okay, we need you guys to start working on the first album?
We ended up just having an album done by recording so many songs. We had probably recorded like 40 songs.
40 songs that you
probably
actually
like
sang,
40, like
that you
40.
actually recorded and sang, and it was like,
And we would turn them over to the label, and they put them in the vault, because they gave us a recording budget. So we would turn songs over to them, and they would hold them in the vault. And how we picked the songs for the first intro album was at Eddie F house on his back porch, smoking a blunt with Super Cat, the reggae artist. Super Cat,
as one would do in the 90s.
yeah. Super Cat pretty much picked the album, the songs on our first album. How? We don't know. He just was things like, yeah, that one right there, man. Yeah, that one right there, that one. So we was just writing them down. All right, Love Thing. Okay, Let Me Be the One. Okay, One of a Kind Love. And that's pretty much how, out of those 40 songs, we picked the 11 songs I think we had on the intro album.
Okay, but then did you have an A&R person? I would have thought that's what they normally do. And
yeah,
stuff.
that was Kevin Woodley. He didn't push back on anything that we did, because we were coming with a whole new sound. So he didn't know either. He didn't know what Atlantic Records wasn't ready for what we gave them. They never seen anything like it before. The hip hop beats, like, so they've had records with hip hop beats on it from like Force MDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was never like a whole album of just street music with singing on it. So they really didn't know. They trusted us. But he let us pick. Yeah.
And what about Eddie? Did he not get involved in picking or helping pick? Because it was.
He would have released all 40 of those songs if he could. He would have released all 40.
Wow.
And then again, behind the scenes, I'm sure it was a lot of talk and back and forth with Eddie and the A&R at the label.
Yeah.
And because it definitely wasn't the three of us that said, this is the album, take it, and that's it.
Wow.
But they gave us a lot of freedom.
And that, especially when and I think there's the advantage of being in a label that doesn't have groups like yourself, but then because you have the creative freedom, but then there's also the disadvantage where they're not used to knowing how to market you. So would have been different if you think, when you look back, if you were signed to Uptown, no Jodeci, and Mary, would you think you'd have been any different as a group?
I think if we were signed to Uptown, we would have been more popular. We would have sold more records, but I'm not sure we would have made more money. Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't think, yeah.
Okay. So the deal might not have been as good as the negotiation. Yeah.
Because it's like a corporation, and they're going to be here forever, pretty much. So they have a reputation to uphold. So they're not going to do but so much, to you.
Yeah. So you have 40 songs, and they're sending it to the vault. I think a lot of us are learning about what they call masters. And does that mean that those 40 songs don't belong to you anymore?
Right. The label owns those songs. They have the right to do whatever they want with those songs.
And when you're sending them 40 songs, did you know that that's the case, that we're sending them the songs and they own it, and it's like, I've just painted, I've done a pie, and it goes back to the field? Did you have an idea, or what was it?
Well, they were paying for it. There's paying right by right. They're paying the studio time. They were paying us, and that was our job, to turn over songs at that time. So they have them there, and we can still release them if we want to and collect our publishing money. Like, that's what's going to happen with the album in June. They're going to pull songs from the vault and remaster them and put those out.
Okay. So on reflection, though, would you have thought, okay, we've got these songs, we can keep some of them and just turn over 15 songs and we still keep the other 25? On reflection, knowing what you know now about the business, would you have done stuff like that, or would you still have given them the 40?
Right. Well, they have about 40 songs in the vault, and then there's another 40 or 50 songs just laying around producers' homes. Like, I was on the phone with producer the other day. He has 3 songs that he's going to submit for the movie soundtrack. you know, that's never been released. We never gave to the record company or anything. So, you know, there's still a lot of intro stuff. I go on the internet and come across unreleased music all the time from us. I don't know how it gets out there, but it's almost a whole album out there of unreleased songs right now.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine, Richard from the Grapevine. He's on IG, and he told me about 2 songs. Put Me On.
Yeah, Put Me On. A lot of people ask about Put Me On. They ask me, do I have it and can I send it to them? And I don't even have that record. Like that's Jonathan Morant and Eddie F. They have that record, Put Me On, in its entirety. And he may release it. Eddie might release it one day.
Okay.
I'll sure wish he would.
But then who does he own it, or who owns it?
That song right there is just like a rogue song. We just recorded it. Nobody really owns it because we don't have a deal for that record. Like if Eddie was to put it out, then that would have to be a whole different agreement. Like, you know, on the points and how much, what are the splits on it. It's like coming over to a friend's house and just recording a song.
Okay.
And, that's what happened pretty much. We were just there and the music is on and just, hey, let's do it. And that happened a lot. We have a lot of songs out there.
Very similar to what Prince would do, just record lots of music and stuff, but he'd keep hold of his stuff. What about those that How Can You? How Can You Let Me Down? Yeah. It has a Jay-Z beat underneath it. Can't Knock the Hustle. Okay.
Yeah, that's another one of them. Yeah.
And that's, you don't have that one, but that's out there.
That's out there as well. I have that. I just don't have Put Me On. I have How Can. So, shoot, I might have been listening to that.
Now, as I said.
Oh yeah, here you go. You hear that?
Yeah.
I thought that we would be together. How can you let me go?
Is that you on the keys?
No, that's on Rashad Smith. Do I hear a little bit of it?
I remember the day we met, something like I dreamed of. Never asking for a thing, I only want your precious love. But you use me to see what you can get. Now you don't want to stay together. I don't see how you forget all the tears that you cried. I wipe them from your eyes.
I'll just play it through the chorus. I'll just play it through the first chorus.
All the plans that we made, you threw it all away. I really thought you were the one, but now I see it was a game. You really cared about anyone else. I know you wouldn't hurt me. I know that you would not hurt me, baby. No. If you cared about more than this, I know you would go. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm listening to this and I'm thinking I missed the 90s because no producers they're not non-innovative like this and stuff. I mean that's I'm listening to Kenny and it reminds me of Diesel, Daryl Diesel Adams from 911. Yeah, Basic Black. Basic Black mainly, but there is such I think like Luther has it. There is something powerful about how they sing that is very effortless. You can't teach that.
You can't. It comes from in here.
Yeah, I'm listening to that. I'm saying, wow, that's such I could hear pain and joy and truth in just that short small clip.
We have songs that I mean, if there was a label to put an album together like right now, like it's coming in June, but I mean, I think we missed a lot of years of not putting out good music and stuff.
Yeah, but then, okay, so Okay, it kind of threw me because that's very really good track. So your first album, you pick up your 11 tracks and stuff, and were you guys then prepared because you were doing a lot behind the stuff, seeing stuff, and now you have to do your photos and promos, shoot a video and stuff. What was that like back in that early time?
That was a fun experience for us. Shooting music videos. I remember the first video that we did was Shinehead, Try My Love. So we kind of got a taste of what it's like to be on a video set and how much
Yeah.
fun he was having and stuff. A couple of weeks later, we shot the video for Love Thing. It was freezing cold outside. It was Super Bowl. And, you know, all the trucks there and the food and the people and knowing that, you know, we get ready to create something to share with the world. That was fun. Then we did Let Me Be the One video in Atlanta. Then it was Come Inside video, which is we did here in New York. Excuse me. Then off to California to do Ribbon in the Sky video. So it was just like.
So I put out the little poll, and I put Let Me Be the One, Funny How Time Flies, Come Inside, Love Thing, and Feels Like the First Time. And Come Inside had, you know, this 1,200 votes within the last 6 hours. Was 50% of the people preferred Come Inside as one of their favorite intro tracks. Although I didn't put Rhythm in the Sky because I know it was a Stevie cover, and back in the day everyone did a Stevie cover. You had to do a Stevie cover.
Yeah.
And sometimes you put a Stevie cover, it would skew the votes. My favorite is probably Feels Like the First Time. It's probably emotionally feels probably one of a very emotional track. And stuff, but how was the reception of the first album? Because you know, you guys were very distinct, very different. No one would ever, you know, Jodeci were doing their thing, Blackstreet, Boys to Men, everyone was doing their thing, Drew Hill, but you guys were very much in a very different lane that everyone would say, oh, intro. What was it like when you guys came out as a group? Could you feel that people gave you respect and being different?
We had good love on the streets. That's how I used to always put it. You know, a lot of people from in the pretty much lower income neighborhoods showed us a lot of love because I guess they could relate with the stories in the record. You know, and then it'd be surprisingly crowds. Like we ended up at the Wrigley Mansion in Arizona. That's the people who made Wrigley Spearmint gum.
Yeah,
you know, up at their house with friends with them, and like the Dome's Backache Pills people, they're intro fans. Wow. You know, so it was like it was really diverse, and we had a lot of football players would invite us to perform at their parties that they would have. You know, Super Bowl parties and stuff like that.
Wow.
It was really a really fun time, really good time. So that first album it kind of caught on really quick.
What did it do? Did it go platinum?
It went way past platinum, but if you go on the RIAA, they're gonna still have it listed as gold. Yeah. So that's one of those things back over there.
Yeah. Why was that? Because why would they have two different figures? Why would Atlantic not be proud to say you've got
once they acknowledge that you platinum, it comes with a bonus. It comes with a bonus check. So that number will always probably stay at 999,000. You know, 999. That number will probably never go to 1 million.
Unless what would be the case where they can't hold it back?
I don't have that answer. I don't know. that's a phone call. It's really just a quick email to say what are our total numbers. Like I get our royalty statements and stuff, but everything is in streams, not units.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that. But Atlantic were like, well, we've got a hot product here that we want to take on because it shows that you had a lane. It did well, and it did. Yeah, and I knew it couldn't have just gone gold, even though you just have a gold plaque. But it did. Everyone had a copy of it.
Everybody had a copy of this thing all around the world. I'm like,
yeah. I think one of the things that I've that sort of vexed me, was the fact that intro, and SWV, had a main lead singer,
Mhm.
and I think I struggled. To me personally, I don't know about it. The fact that there's a lot of, even H-Town had, it was that sense of we're
Mhm.
investing in our lead singer to do all the singing, and as long if they don't run it, if they don't call it quits and stuff, we've got a group for life. But if they decide, yeah, my vocals have gone, we're so used to just the one singer. When you guys were performing, the three of you, did you not say, well, if we let Kenny, even though he's by far better singer, if we don't chip in every now and then singing a lead or stuff, it might just be the Kenny Greene show.
Mhm. Well, after the first album, like the industry at that time, they had a pattern of they would put groups out and then they would take the lead singer and do a solo album. And then maybe the group would come back together, maybe they wouldn't.
Yeah.
That was like a pattern that was going on. So I was encouraging Kenny after the first album to do a Kenny Greene album. He didn't
Wow.
want to do it. Yeah, he didn't want to do it. Yeah, I was encouraging him because, at the end of the day, it's not the music friends, it's the music business. And I saw where that would have just done phenomenal. He would have been like a Will Downing or a Luther Vandross, and I
Yeah.
felt the world needed that. But yeah.
But you've been involved in helping write and produce and stuff.
Yeah. Like it would have been just some of those from those songs that we did already because he was already singing leads. It would have been as simple as just handing the songs over and doing the packaging. Yeah.
Yeah, but what was his hesitation for doing that?
I think we were having too much fun, pretty much. I think we were just having too much fun, as a group traveling and that became like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not everyone that has, you think of, we talk about New Edition, and Bobby he could do it seamlessly, but you could see Ralph initially struggled with that. Okay, do I go solo because I'm so used to being with the fellas, and it didn't seem like that. So then you guys go directly with Atlantic and start working on your follow-up album. Was there pressure from you guys to sophomore album? Because that's sometimes back in those days it could be the pressure album.
There was, but Kenny's father passed away, like right when we got the budget to do the album. So it turned from a follow-up album to almost like a dedication album to his father. Like we don't look at New Life as the second intro album. We kind of look at New Life as an inspirational record. That's why I don't have like we have Funny How Time Flies on there and Strung Out on Your Love, but we don't have like the Love Thing or Let Me Be the One type of records throughout there because it's mostly, pretty much every one of those songs is about Kenny's father.
Wow.
Yeah, There's a Way, Spending My Life with You, New Life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell me how. Okay.
We had to do our Come Inside. We had to have a follow-up for Come Inside, so that's why we did Feels Like the First Time with Novell Hodge. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but that was, as I said, it's probably my favorite intro song, because there's a very passionate song, and so that affected the writing and what you wrote about. As a group, you guys were supportive of that. It wasn't like, no, man, we need to do.
Oh no, I was fine with that. I was 100% fine with it. Yeah.
And the label, were did they trusted you the first time? They just said, yeah, whatever you want to do, or what was
They just like give them. We sat in a meeting with them, and it's like pretty much give them whatever they want. They gave us way over $500,000 to record that second album. We didn't need that much money, but
what happens with the money though? Did they just say, here's the money,
here's
and
the
then
money. You got do what you got to do. Just make sure you do what you got to do. You can't just take the money and not turn over the product. Yeah.
But then so they give you the big advance, and at least that makes you guys a lot more comfortable when when you record, but you're not wasting it.
No. We had a business manager, so when we need studio time, They'd PO the money to the studio. It wasn't like we could go with an ATM card and pull the money out. I'm going to take out a couple $1,000 today to do this.
Okay.
Now
But
we
then,
set aside individual like advances. Like each member would get like $10,000, you know, to help with the living expenses and stuff.
yeah.
Because during that time we weren't on the road. So
Okay. Now, just before we move on, the touring, because what I'm hearing from when I interview members of groups is that you don't make as much as a group from album sales, but it's really the touring that really is where the income was. That unless you have publishing. But what did you find back in those early days?
Yeah, that was the primary source of income, doing the shows. Yeah, doing the shows. Because your check from the label, if you're getting a check, it comes once every 4 months. There's like quarterly.
Okay.
But with the shows, if you're working like every week, you know, sometimes 2, 3, 4 shows a week. I was coming home. I had problems with the money. I used to have people meet me to bring money home for me and stuff like that. It was ridiculous.
From the shows.
Yeah, I called my brother, like, can you please fly? We're gonna be in Philadelphia on this day. Can you please meet me here? I need you to take something home for me. Because a lot of those shows were paid in cash because the promoters don't want to pay, you know,
taxes and all that stuff.
You know, it's a lot of cash stuff. You know, I know the FBI and IRS is watching, but I took care of my taxes. I paid my taxes.
I do remember. Oh, was it Mary that said that when she did the track for Method Man? Oh, Method Man did. She did track for Method Man. They paid it in cash, and she was a little freaked out about it. But and she said it in an interview. But what you're saying is that there's a lot of wow. So that's was quite interesting. So hence there's the need to be on tour quite a bit. But then, were you guys comfortable being on the road and being on tour, or would you prefer being in the studio? What was it for you guys?
We liked the road until you got tired. You know, it's fun traveling and seeing different parts of the world and places that you never seen before. And what we did was we put our studio on our tour bus, so we were still able to work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as time went on, and you kind of get tired of being around each other all the time, you know, you kind of definitely need a break and just want to go home and eat food out the kitchen and stuff, and you know.
So when you in between the time when your first album comes out and the follow up, and you're promoting going on tour, were you still then, after the success of what you did for Mary, were you still turning in records for other artists? More so Kenny, because once they saw the success of the Mary J. Blige albums, they would start flying him to different studios. Like he did a record with Will Smith. He did a record with AZ. There's a couple of other different artists. Yeah. But they because Kenny's name was on there, they thought he was the sole person. And what about yourself?
Man, I had to, for Come Inside, they was going to put Come Inside out without my name on it. And if you look, if there's some CDs that's floating around where it just says written by Kenny Greene, or if you go on some platform, it just says written by Kenny Greene. And I had to really fight with the label. Like, I was getting the money for it and I had my publishing, but the written credit wasn't on there. There's like, well, he's a bigger songwriter. Let's just put his name on. I was like, no, that's not how it's gonna work, because I need to get credit too, because that's how people are gonna come to me to write songs.
Yeah.
So if they finally put it on there, and that's like.
So the album comes out. Whose idea was it to do Ribbon in the Sky?
Tim Patterson. He was a guy named Tim Patterson. He worked with InTro. He worked with Jodeci. He signed the Lost Boys to Uptown Records. Okay. He was like our artist development guy, and he was like, "You guys need to do a Stevie Wonder song." Ribbon in the Sky. We're like, we're not doing a Stevie Wonder song. It's too much work. We don't want to do it. And he kept pressuring us, and finally we recorded the song. Yeah.
I mean, at that time, everyone had to do a Stevie song on the album. Blackstreet, everyone had to do it. But it was was it one of your bigger crossover hits?
It was definitely the biggest crossover hit. Yeah. We didn't release it as a single at first, so that's what took the album gold. Because people, they could buy Let Me Be the One and Love Thing as a single. But if you wanted Ribbon in the Sky, you had to actually buy the CD or the cassette.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were doing to some of. That's what the labels were doing back in those days
Mhm.
to really push the stuff. But then after the second album and stuff, what happens in between? Were you then working on doing a third, or what happened?
After we released the second album, we did 2 videos. We did Funny How Time Flies, Feels Like the First Time. Then there was something like a falling out between our manager and somebody at the label, or between Kenny and somebody at the label. We never got the story of what happened, but there was some sort of falling out, and to the point where Atlantic Records was like, we're just gonna let you guys go and do whatever you want to do. We're gonna release you from your contract.